things.
Well, good evening, everybody. Sorry about that. Couldn't really be helped. There was a little bit of issue with Rumble. I couldn't quite. They changed something again, and I wasn't able to just see the stream like I like to be able to do. But it should be streaming on both platforms now, Rumble and YouTube. So it kind of screws up my mojo a little bit when I gotta fucking do all this back end shit while I'm trying to do everything, but whatever. Goes to the territory when you're trying to avoid censorship and bullshit. So anyway, hold on. I wish I had like a big thing of tea, like a big coffee. Yeah. All right. Take the hat off. Getting warm. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, and everybody in between. I was going to come on here and do like some kind of like really like dark soliloquy where I just sort of take credit for everything that I've been right about all this time. But yeah, it should be playing now. Roxy Love, just make sure you check on YouTube and Discord. They both, YouTube and Rumble should both be streaming. If they're not, YouTube's fine. Okay. Yeah, it should all be pretty caught up. YouTube's good. All right, good. Let's go through and welcome everybody and get back into the spirit of things. Queen Homunculus says, hell yeah, Chaos Frog meme magic activated in the energy tonight. Yes, indeed. Joffrey says hello. Maiden Liberty says, hello, people of the lovely culture. Connor Beliski says, hey, what's up, DH? I'm nice and stoned for this. Good. That's a good way to be, I guess. Christian Heinekainian, what's up, brother? I always say your name, Ryan. Heinekainen. Good evening, all, he says. And Jose Munoz says, hey, DH Thorne. Prince of Gygal, it's been a minute. He says, hello. He gives me a wave. Let's see. Who did we not see? Let's see. Dark Lord Sparta says, hello. Kirill, excuse me. Welcome. He says, hi. I don't know if I've ever actually seen you here before, but welcome, welcome. He asks, or she asks, wondering about the proposition of having one timeline split into several others. We can definitely talk about timelines tonight. That could come up. We are absolutely going through timeline splits and shifts, except here's the deal. We're not really, in my opinion, in the middle of a timeline shift, or excuse me, split as of yet. We are actually in the middle of, how shall we put this? We are sort of in a temporal nexus whereby, at least until recently, maybe this is changing, maybe it's already changed. It's very hard to tell. But for a little while there, it was very much as if multiple different temporal dimensions were colliding, and we had a number of different timelines or timeline potentials. So imagine it like a switch, like a train switch, right? You have like like a train yard. You can have like all these trains come together, and they get switched over. Or maybe a better way to think of it is sort of like a subway station or a train station. So we are, in my opinion, or at least were, in the middle of a temporal nexus where numerous timelines were converging all into the same temporal space. And what does that mean, though? Well, it doesn't mean that your physical self is traveling through time. That is a misunderstanding of all of this. That is not what's happening at all. Time is not a reality. There is only now, except now is forever. Now is eternal. It is always now, even when it's what you think of as the past. The past, present, and future are all the same time. They're all the same moment. The instant, infinite. Think of it like space, right? Space isn't really divisible into multiple pieces. It's all the same space, no matter where you are, right? If we're in the 3D space-time coordinate system, no matter where you are, you're always here. Here being a spatial thing. It's the same space no matter where you go. It's just that that space has different perspectives of itself. It's probably the only way to rationalize it, because you can't say there's different spaces. It's the same space, but a different perspective of that space. Time is no different. What you think of as time is no different at all. I'm not the only one who tells you this. People who are into manifestationism, timeline shifting, reality jumping, quantum leaping. There's that guy, Daryl Atka, who talks about it very similarly. In fact, he's one of the few that I find very little that I can disagree with. So whether he's actually channeling an alien that he calls Bashar, who's a Sasani, or he just has the same, shall we say, combination of studies, sources, and experiences, that's entirely possible. He may be faking the whole I'm channeling an alien aspect of this. But more than likely, I get the feeling like he's definitely in connection with something. It may just be a part of his higher self. It may be anything. It could be a trickster spirit. I don't know. But I don't feel insincerity coming from him. That doesn't mean I think he's always 100%. Any channel, anybody who claims to channel, there's a bit of their own ego that gets in the way. Their own personality is used, right? The channeling, whatever you're channeling, or depending upon your definition of channeling or how you're doing it, that channeling is either an inspired thing or it is almost like possession. You're allowing another mind or entity to be, how do I put this? To inform your behavior, to like player one and player two, right? It's a shared controls. And it's not necessary. You don't feel like it's somebody else. At least not in my experience. When you're doing it that way, it feels like you, as if it's your idea the whole time. But they're alien thoughts, they're alien ideas that come pouring out of you. And they may or may not be filled with things that shall we say, come from outside. So, and Be Great Anyway says, Anka does claim that Bashar is his higher self. I didn't know that. I thought he said it was literally an alien he was channeling. That's possible. Punkhead says, I remember Bashar said in one of his videos, I saw saying, we sometimes say white lies. So I'm not, here's full disclosure. I've only maybe ingested 2 hours worth of Bashar's content altogether. Maybe a little more, maybe 3. So don't ever get the impression that like anything he says is like I'm an expert on, right? All I know is that it's very rare that I listen to him and go, well, I don't agree with that. In fact, I don't think I've ever listened to what he's had to say, honestly, and thought that's wrong. There may be times where I might say, well, there's a way I would say it differently, or maybe there's a more precise way to say things because of the way these things work. Semantics do matter in philosophy. Your definitions absolutely matter a lot. In fact, when you're doing philosophy, being pedantic is a good thing. It sucks for everybody outside, but you need precise definitions. Without precise definitions, you can't really do the work. So spirituality, if you're really going to be a mystic, you don't absolutely have to be great at semantics, but if you're going to be a teacher of mysticism, it helps tremendously to be very, very, very well versed in language. You need to really understand language. But even a philosopher will benefit from a really good grasp of linguistics, because your arguments that you even make to yourself when you're contemplating are better served by better lexicon. When you have a better dictionary, a bigger dictionary of more nuanced terms, terms that can have different inflection and different meaning, you do a lot better. You will notice I'm very well spoken. I have a very huge vocabulary, and that has a big deal to do with my ability to do what I do. Okay. Now, I will come back to the spiritual topic, but tonight, full disclosure, guys, again, fair warning, if you are not into this, fair warning, tonight is not your stream. If you get turned off when I talk about politics or social shit or world events or things going on, this is not your stream. But I would urge you, especially if you're an American, to buckle the fuck up, put your big girl panties on, grow a thicker skin, and just listen as best you can to what I'm going to tell you. I'm telling this to you. Yes, I'm irreverent. Yes, I speak rudely. Yes, I sound like an arrogant prick, but I genuinely do have compassionate care for everybody who's innocent in all of this, that needs to wake the fuck up, get with the program, because at this moment, we are reaching, let me present this to you in two ways. In the mundane sense, we are reaching a point of no return, where if you are still completely in the dark, carrying water for whatever term you want to use, the New World Order, the cabal, if you're still carrying water for their political operatives, if you're still tribalistically wired for Democrat versus Republican and all of this nonsense, but especially if you're on that side that's freaking out right now about Project 2025 and everything else, if you're one of these people who's turning a blind eye to the obvious at this point, corruption, things are not going to be going well for you very soon. In fact, I'm going to say that in my personal book of like my own ledger of this situation, today, right around now, this week, next week, I give you guys a little bit of time to catch up, and be informed. But if you're still carrying water for the sniffer in chief, if you're still on that side of things, you are reaching a point where I don't care what you think anymore. I have no respect for you. I don't care if I hurt your feelings. I don't care if you think I'm a racist, bigot, or whatever else. I am not impressed. I'm not intimidated. I have been for a long time. In fact, the entire time that I've been doing this work, I have been extremely diplomatic. You guys have no idea how much I've held back what I want to say, because I'm not trying to turn away people who might be reachable. I'm not trying to dilute my message or divide my audience. But there comes a point where the rubber meets the road, where you have to accept that you can't please everybody, and that there is such a thing as mental illness, being indoctrinated, being a zombie, being brainwashed, and that there is a point of no return, that people have to go through the dark night of the soul before they can be redeemed. That is coming now. And a lot of people are not going to make it through this in a way that is going to be good for their mental health. There's a lot of people that, in my opinion, do not deserve amnesty or forgiveness. The people who were really eager to lock down, to forcibly require you, I got to be careful here because I'm still on YouTube. They're still part of the enemy operation here. You have to be careful. You still have to watch your words. But there are people who are very eager to lock you down, put you in quarantine facilities, force you to take experimental concoctions via a small little piece of metal going into your arm. They were willing and ecstatic at the idea of putting their political rivals in these quarantine facilities. I'm not kidding. I've had them comment on my work on Facebook. They do exist. These people, they forfeit the right for merciful forgiveness. See, forgiveness by itself, it's not a right-hand path thing at all. It's not a goody two-shoes, turn the other cheek thing. Forgiveness is actually a form of non-attachment. You let go. You let go of the need for them to suffer, for you to feel happy. Forgiveness is the letting go of what happens to them in terms of your happiness and joy and bliss and peace. You're letting go of your requirement for them to suffer. However, forgiveness does not mean you are free from consequence. I can forgive you and still press charges in a court of law. I can forgive my son when he breaks something that I can't replace when he was a child and still ground him. Yes, my son, I am glad you told me the truth, and for that reason, I will reward you with a lesser sentence. Thank you very much for not making me force you to tell me, but you still did the naughty thing. And here is the consequence. The consequences are not something that necessarily gets avoided. Mercy is given to those who deserve it, and only from or by those who are in a position of authority to give it. Okay? So these people that have been pushing this bullshit, who have been going out of their way to demonize every one of probably you, because a lot of you agree with my opinions on these matters, at least to a point. A lot of these people would have been very happy to see you put into concentration camps, just with nicer words on. There are not that many of them. If I'm being honest with you, they are actually a very tiny part of our culture. 10% maybe. Maybe, if that. Probably closer to 5%. So about 10% of the population wanted you to lose your freedom, your way of life, your sovereignty, your power, your authority, your free will, your health, the whole works, just so they could be in power. And those people are the ones that are currently freaking the fuck out, acting like that Project 2025 is Trump's biggest fucking thing, because they're still indoctrinated by the talking points of the propaganda artists that run our media system. They're sick. They're helpless. They're zombies. And I want to tell you, anybody who, think of it this way. Imagine I am one of those guys. Pretend a movie scene, right? Where you have this guy who gets up, anyone who will admit and ask forgiveness, it will be given. Everybody else on that side, you're fucked. That's where we're at right now. Here's the line in the sand. I am now formally, officially, tell your friends, tell all your little blue-haired friends that are screaming that everybody like me is a racist, bigot, whatever, white male. Tell all those people, tell them all. Tell the ones that really hate me. The line in the sand is drawn. You're done. You're absolutely fucking done. Everything that you stood for is about to come crashing down on your pathetic, demented, degenerate heads. And I feel bad for you because it's probably not your fault. You got brainwashed. But a lot of us were nice to you along the way. We tried to tell you nicely what was coming. We tried to tell you very nicely. You see, there is a point of no return. There is a point where you can no longer tolerate. It's not about left, right, center, or anything else. It is existential. We are dealing with an existential crisis. That doesn't mean you have to give all in or support my guy. You will note, I don't go off and campaign for Trump or something. You know I support him, but I don't make it about Trump. I don't give a fuck whether you support Trump or not. I could care less. You can hate his guts. But if you are not pointing at the same group of people that I'm pointing at, you are my, I'm going to say it, I don't like saying it, you are my enemy. Because you are aiding and abetting these bloodlines that have been keeping us repressed, that are sitting on top of the greatest technology and power and freedom ever. And they won't let you have it because they know that you're a slave species, the majority of you, with a little couple drops of DNA that uplifted you. And they repressed that. Some of us still have it. It's not a racial thing. Really has nothing to do with that. Maybe 10,000 years ago that mattered. Maybe 10 or 20,000 years ago, things like we think of as race mattered. But ever since then, humanity's intermingled so much, your skin color doesn't mean shit in terms of your worth or your capability, the shape of your body. You are beautiful. You're a human being, and that admixture is everybody now. So we don't discriminate here. We don't discriminate on those grounds. We don't do that. I will not tolerate it in my circle. There are people who have come to me in the past and said, Thorne, what do you think about me working with the Norse gods? I'm not white. Or Thorne, well, I can't really say the other way because I'm not into that. But people have said, do you think, I've made my opinion clear. I don't believe in closed practices, closed systems. If some group wants to keep their stuff private and secret, that's fine. What I'm saying is you can't have like a public thing. I shouldn't say you can't, but it's untenable. You can't be like, hey, I'm a Christian, but you're not allowed to come to church because you're white or black. It's ridiculous. So I don't play those ridiculous games. But they want you to. They want you to. We're not going to. So whatever the deal with that was, there is, however, bloodlines. Some of us incarnated into these bodies because they were the right bodies for us. You have to understand, you're not a body with a mind. You're not a mind with a body. Your consciousness, which has intellect, consciousness isn't just a passive witness. Contrary, unfortunately, perhaps, to my favorite mystical tradition, Advaita, it is not a dead witness. It is a living witness. There is will. There is intellect. It's just not perceivable. It is what manifests what is perceived. That consciousness is having a mental experience and a physical experience. It's seeing through its bliss. It's seeing through, by bliss, I mean it's infinitude. It's union of all opposites. That's bliss. When you have a union of all possible things, that is ultimate peace and bliss. And it's not a feeling, it is a knowing. It is a knowing of just pure, and you can't, it's not orgasmic. An orgasm is a feeling. A feeling is not enlightenment. A feeling is not samadhi. A feeling is something manifesting. So, you are consciousness. What we use the word, I'm sure, let me rephrase that. You are what we call consciousness, incarnate through your bliss layer, your intellect layer, your mental layer, your energy layer, and your physical layer. These are all illusory sheaths. They're not literal things. They're not things. They are dimensions of perception. They are planes of potential perception. The astral plane is everything above the physical plane, right? That's what everyone tells you, and there's multiple layers. But in some sense, there's no difference between the physical and the astral. They're just different ways of seeing the same truth. So when you incarnate into this body, you're not incarnating into this body because it's the body that's making you incarnate. It's not a body that you're emerging from. The DNA of this body doesn't decide who you are. It decides what limits are placed upon your mind, your higher mind. Your lower mind, your body mind, is your everyday mind. It is the mind that is influenced by the body's chemistry, the body's blah, 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 the mental states that it has, and it's the brain sheath, if you will. It's like a filter. Your body mind is a filter. Your higher mind is another filter. It has nothing to do with physicality. It does not experience physical limitations. You can daydream anything you want. You can dream anything you want. Normally, though, you do it solo. But when you withdraw enough from the physical, you can go into a shared mental, a shared astral. We call it the astral. It's a great word. But it's just another veil. There's the physical veil, and then there's the next veil, and the next veil. And there's an infinite number of veils, probably. We call them non-physical. What defines physicality? Time and space, the limitations of space-time. The astral does not have the limitations, at least of space. You can be anywhere at any moment, at least anywhere. Isn't that what everybody wants to do in the astral, is fly around? See Mars or something? People who do the astral stuff, I've never really been able to get it to the degree other people can. Certainly not. I've never reached an objective layer of the astral while awake. I've done it in, we'll say, with chemical assistance and very, very deep sleep, where is this a dream or is this real? You can I've never done it through meditation, I can fully admit that. I'm not ashamed of it. Not everybody can do it. Maybe you can't get your mind to go into the right place. I'm still practicing that. One of these days I'll get it. If it's gettable, I will get it. It's more a matter of letting go of your belief that you're this body, really. To really get good at it, my understanding. But you don't incarnate here because this body made you. You incarnate here because this body resonates with what you already are. It resonates in a way enough that it's like, that'll do. Looks enough like who I think I look like. Feels enough like who I think I would feel like. Certain bodies, certain human beings, certain human organisms retain the ability to be, shall we say, possessed by a higher mind than other people. There's more room. There's a bigger window. The filter isn't so clouded. What physical mechanism there is for this, I don't know if there is one. But for whatever reason, some of us are more compatible with higher minds. That's not to say that if you incarnated here into a body that isn't, that you're not a higher mind. You are. It's just that some of these bodies have a bigger aperture, have better bandwidth, and are able to better allow for that higher mind to speak, to access the faculties of this body. A lot of you are very intelligent. Guess what? That means that your biological body does not filter your higher intellect as much as someone else's. But you both potentially have the same higher potential. Ultimately, we're all the same potential. We're all the source. So you incarnate here and you've got these abilities. Or you don't. You've chosen it. You've chosen to incarnate in this body because it feels right. So what I'm saying is, a long time ago, these bodies were seeded here by whatever intelligence was at work. I don't know. And then life on this planet was intervened with many times over the billions of years that it's been here. And in the last couple 100 million or so, and then in the last couple million or so, and then in the last couple 100,000, and then the last 10,000 or so, there have been interventions by higher entities. Whether they are from interdimensional planes or other planets, I'll leave that up to you. I don't know. Probably a little bit of everything. And there's been good guys and bad guys that have intervened. And pretty much every human on this planet, in fact, every human on this planet, is almost certainly an alien or has alien ancestry. That much to me seems very difficult. Yeah, you can't prove it, but all the evidence, both antique and modern, seems to be pointing that way. That human beings didn't evolve on this planet. We were engineered from something compatible with the visitors that came here. Or they were always here, but they weren't from the surface. Maybe they were from underground. Maybe humanity actually did evolve on this planet, but really in this planet. Maybe human beings as we know them are not a surface primate. Maybe there are vast underground realms called Agartha or something like that. Maybe you look it up. It's one of those things that you don't hear much in a lot of circles, but when you look it up, not every single, but many of the most ancient and profound mythological traditions speak of an underworld that isn't, shall we say, ethereal. It's a real place in this world. And some of them are very open about what they think that is. So human beings didn't evolve here on the surface from the Serengeti. I don't believe in that one bit. It never made sense to me. After I started to hear about the aquatic ape theory, I said, nah, that's it. Whatever we are, we're not Serengeti mammals, okay? We are somewhat amphibious. We're like the monkeys that like the hot springs. We didn't evolve in the trees and the Serengeti. We evolved in swamps or subterranean water, places with lots of water underground and stuff. Not that we were underwater animals. No, we're like hippos or something. We have a mammalian gag reflex. We can hold our breath willfully. It's not something that makes us drown. We don't have to breathe. We can hold our breath for minutes. Only things like whales, dolphins, hippopotamuses, only creatures that are evolved to be aquatic have that potential. Yes, Elysium, good. Exactly, Prince of Gygal. Exactly. Hades, Elysium, Tartarus. Humans didn't evolve, in my opinion, at all on the surface of the planet. We adapted to the surface of this planet. And we had help. All right. Back on topic. So tonight is very political. Go tell your little blue-haired woke friends. I'm sure a lot of them are having a bad time right now Thorne, why aren't you picking on the right wing? Because the right wing, who said before lesser of two evils? Who was that? Let me scroll up a little bit. Who said that? Kirill. Kirill mentioned the lesser of two evils. You're not wrong. But can I ask you guys what the not evil is in this world? Is there any not evil? Can anybody among you who likes to, and by the way, I don't think Kirill was saying that in a nasty way or a argumentative way. I think he was just saying, you know, Trump, etc., is the lesser of the evils, and that's correct. At least that's what it seems. All the evidence I've seen tells me that that is correct. You don't have any other choice, really. It's not a great place to be in, but can someone please tell me what the non-evil is? Does it exist? Are any of you not evil? You know what a purity spiral is? Have you ever heard of it? Guys, you all, not all of you guys necessarily, because a lot of you guys have things figured out a little bit, but the average person needs a very deep cleaning psychological, you know, a psychological deep clean, okay? A lot of you guys have been programmed and you don't even know it. Even you, even me, we're all programmed a little bit. Some of us less than others. Some of us had figured it out and we retrovirused it out and we weeded it all out. We did the best that we could. We still have some, but there is a difference. I've had people come to me and go, oh, you're just choosing the lesser of two evils when you choose Trump. No, I'm not. You don't have an option. You're just mad. You're in the middle of a purity spiral because somebody told you that there is lesser of two evils is wrong. You're right. But that's how it actually is in life. Like, I wish I could just shake you and be like, show me what's not evil, according to even your own loose definition. Show me something that isn't fallen, degenerate, corrupted, sick, selfish. Show me one person. Then never get in my face. Well, you're just voting for the lesser of two evils. If that is your mentality, you don't even know. You've been impregnated. You've been indoctrinated. You've been inoculated with a mental virus thought. This is a thought virus. It's like when you put doubt in somebody's mind about something, when you neg somebody. It's like you're inserting doubt. And it doesn't even have to hold water. You just have to say it. It's in there now. And when they have a moment of weakness, they'll go, well, maybe that person was right. So when someone says, oh, you're just choosing the lesser of two evils, since there is literally no way out of that double bind, you will end up with paralysis, decision paralysis. I can't choose anybody. Or you will only choose that ideal that you think is an ideal, that you've put on a pedestal, you think is flawless and never makes a mistake. You know, back in like 2010, 2011, when I was a big Ron Paul guy, I still am. I still think Ron Paul's cool. At least I like what he does. I don't know if he's clean or white hat or what, but I always liked what he had to say and what he was pushing for. And at the time, there was nobody else that I would support. But I didn't have the mentality that he wasn't a lesser of two of more than two or three evils. He's a human being. He's flawed. I don't expect perfection. But if we're going to talk about lesser of two fucking evils, let's have some fun and actually look at it. Let's look at the evil. You ready? Ta-da! All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, like I said, we're going to be getting a little bit political tonight. I covered a little spiritual stuff early because the questions come up, and we'll come back to that if I got time. That's good, Kirill, because technically I am too. But I'm also a realist. I usually classify myself as being more of a minarchist. If I ever take a genuine, like the old political compass test, not the new versions of it, but the old one, I was always like within 3 boxes of the bottom right. I was always right down there. I'm smallest possible government, biggest possible freedom, with pragmatic limits of either way. 2 of Swords, swift judgment, swift decision making. The sword is quick. Okay, so I've got here on the screen. Show this to your blue-haired friends who are freaking out about Project 2025. You guys ready? I'm saying I told you so because this is so obvious. Let me preface this. First of all, this is a dude in a mask trying to look like he's got Alzheimer's, dementia, etc. I have seen plenty of people with these issues. They don't act like this. This is a guy acting like he's got dementia. Can you guys repeat after me in the comments, please? I'm joking, but I'm also serious. Could you all please, like a classroom, could you please repeat after me? This is a guy in a Biden mask acting demented, and you've got to ask yourself why. So let's roll the bean footage. Let me you can probably see it good from there, right? Let me make sure. Yeah, you guys can. Okay, here we go. Let me know if it plays right. And I'm sorry if this isn't what you're into, but you need to open your fucking eyes. Here we go.
At a NATO news conference introducing Ukraine's president.
Now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. You can beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
You should see the one. There's a one where they show Zelensky's face. Let's play that again. Did you guys catch that?
Introducing Ukraine's president.
Now I want to hand it over to the president.
First of all, how many of you guys can read? And when I mean read energy, read people. This guy's sharp as hell. Look at read his eyes. His eyes aren't demented. There's an intelligence back there. He's not some old, I've seen people with dementia. They don't look like that.
Ukraine, who has as much courage as
he knows what he's doing.
Determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was saying. I read people for a living. I charge sometimes $150 for a session for me to tell you what you can't tell yourself. Nicely. I'm a lot nicer when I do it, by the way, if you ever want to do a consult. Because when I see a person, I see their energy and I treat them accordingly. When I'm talking to the air, I am just riled up at the universe. I'm yelling at the universe because I love it. So just so you guys know, if you ever meet, some of you guys have met me in person, you know that in person, I'm not this like arrogant, like talk downy kind of guy. Okay. This is my video persona. When I read you, I'm in vibe with you. And so I match you. I'm very easy to get along with. It's a little stressful when I got to deal with like 1,000 people at once, but whatever. I read people for a living. This guy is not dementia ridden. This guy's fine. This is an act. I know how to read rehearsed behavior. If the CIA or FBI, like they would pull me in for one of their programs. If they caught me at a young age, they would have pulled me in for training to perfect it in a way they could use. I promise you that. They'd have me listening to phone calls and be like, he's lying. And my accuracy rate is well over 80% across the board. And if you give me a little time to get your baseline, 98% or better.
100 for me.
And if I'm married to you, close to 100, yeah. I just said 100 for you. I'm not bragging. I'm trying to impress upon you. I am saying this with conviction. The story, it may never get proven. But if you fall for this, you're stupid. I shouldn't say that. You're not stupid. I like to say that because it's like my thing now. Just like, I'm really stupid. You're not stupid. You've been misled. But if you fall for this, you're either not paying attention, you can't read, or you're gullible. If this is the first time you saw this guy, you would never know. Most people are low information. They're low information observers of things. They read the front page headline, they look at the little video blurb, and then go on with their life. They don't analyze everything. They got a life. They got to work. Thanks, Tommy. I appreciate that. The thing is, yes, I'm a man of conscience, but don't ever think that that means I'm incapable. You don't know who I am. You know who I want you to see. You know that meme that says you're not a pacifist because you can't fight? Like it's a picture of like a knight cuddling a kitty. I am not incapable of doing the most evil things imaginable. I am utterly, completely capable of it. But you're correct. There is a conscience which I favor. I prefer to go according to conscience, not morality, compassion, sensing the truth in people. If I was a force of nature, I would be retribution, vengeance. I love getting even. I love when guilty are punished. I love it. But the greatest punishment you can give an evil person is redemption. Because redemption extracts. Redemption is an extraction. And extractions are never pleasant. Okay. Did you guys find that one funny? Let's watch another one. You ready for this one? This one's a little less funny. Okay, everybody ready? You everybody paying attention? Here we go.
To stay in the race.
No, unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
To stay in the
So he just said, there's no way I can win. Motherfucker, this is to make you wake up. Don't you get it? He's been scripted to say this shit. And they think you're so stupid because most of you are falling for it. You think honestly that he's a demented idiot who's standing up there saying the most inopportune things of all time? Let's replay it again. I'm sorry, I'm going to be doing a lot of victory laps soon, okay? Get used to it, because this attitude's going to stay for a little while. Here we go.
To stay in the race.
I love
No,
you.
unless they came back and said, there's no way you can win. Me. No one's saying that. No poll says that.
To stay.
This was supposed to be that big boy press conference. Okay, ready? Here's another one. This is a juicy. Is this the one I think it is? Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, this one. Is this the one? There's one that's like. Okay, here we go. We count to 3. Make sure everybody's watching.
Respectfully, earlier you misspoke in your opening answer. You referred to Vice President Harris as Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that?
Look at the response. He's not demented. I've seen people with dementia. They couldn't keep up with the conversation. Someone this far gone cannot keep up with the conversation. They're scripted reactions. Can't you see it?
President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
Listen to him.
This concludes tonight's press conference. Thank you.
President
His
Trump.
response
Right
to
now, Donald
Trump's
Trump
diss is
using
to
that
listen to Trump.
mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
Wake up! It's time to wake up, kids. It's time. I'm done. I'm tired of playing games with you. I am tired of walking on eggshells for people who don't get it. We've passed the Rubicon. It's over. They just haven't figured it out yet. It is over. The line in the sand is drawn. Come at me, bro. I'm not scared of you anymore. Never really been. But before, it wasn't quite yet the time. Now, all of you who know what I'm saying, all of you who are waking up or have woken up, who have figured out what's going on a little bit, who are angry, it is time. Go on the offensive, but don't just attack people. Stand up with conviction and say no. Tell your idiotic liberal friends. By the way, I am a liberal. My social views are liberal, or at least they were. Now they're considered conservative by today's standards, but I consider myself still a social liberal. On the social scale, I am a liberal. On the economic scale, I am a hard right motherfucker. Tell your progressive, blue-haired, woke, riding with Biden, I'm with her type friends, it's over. You're not taking it anymore. You're not going to be silent at Thanksgiving. You're not going to put up with being told you're part of the patriarchy. These people are done. It's over. You had your chance. The cabal backed you. The cabal's dead. I know the cabal is dead for a lot of reasons, but this is one of the, I'm pointing over here because that's where my screen is. This is anybody who couldn't see it before. This has been like an IQ test. Those of us who figured this out years ago, by the way, we all have like IQs in the 130 plus range, or we got lucky. And I mean, figured it out. Some people would just got shown it and they're just gullible and they believe this too. That was his response, Tommy.
This concludes tonight's press conference. Thank you, everybody.
I'll play it for you again. Maybe you missed it. Here you go, Tommy.
As Vice President Trump. Right now, Donald Trump is using that to mock your age and your memory. How do you combat that criticism from tonight?
Listen to him.
Okay, we know what the scripted thing, what they're going to say. Oh, he was really just saying, he was just really saying, listen to Trump because he's worse. No. This is too on the nose. He's telling you, when Trump says that this man's too bad to be president, listen to him. Don't you know linguistics? I shouldn't be so mean like you guys. Obviously, this isn't your bread and butter like it is for me, all right? Let me calm down a little bit. I love just fuck these people. This has been an existential threat. I figured this out 15, 20 years ago. Really 15. My wife figured out some of it before me. Her teachers were like, yeah, how did they hide the plane that hit the Pentagon? So I had to catch up a little bit. Guys, look at his facial expressions. Read his energy. If you can't read people, I'm not sure how to teach that, by the way. That's a skill that I developed naturally through a combination of childhood trauma and just, it was always a gift. I have an animal magnetism. 99 out of 100 animals just are attracted to me. Little kids want to be around me. It's weird. I'll make your pet like me better than you. I'm kidding, but This motherfucker is an actor. This is rehearsed. It's scripted. It's ad-libbed. Yes, it's improv, but it's, you know, it's like ad-libbing, but with cues, right? All right. There's another one. Where is it? No, that's not it. Oh, this is an interesting one. Huma Abedin gets engaged to George Soros' son, Alex, during romantic Italian break. If you know who she is and you know who he is, that's an interesting little bit of news, isn't it? Interesting bit of news. All right. Anyway. All right. So we can do this all day. Like, I mean, let's just, they're trying to smear him with that shit. Give me a break. Look at this crap. Some people are like, Thorne, you're hanging out with conservatives. Fuck you. Fuck you, tribal divided prick. Somebody yesterday was like coming up on my wall after I brought up the Project 2025 saying, well, you know, Trump enables the conservatives. And what, we're supposed to just exclude half the population from having a voice? I don't even think that about the left. Twisted are you? We all know you mean Christians. We all know you're a bigot against Christian people. Look, I've got a lot to say negative about Christianity, but Christians are people. They're brainwashed too. Some of them suck. But the average Christian is just like anybody else in this country, in this world. They're not fucked up. They're normal people. So there's a lot of these, if you want to look them up yourself. Those were just a few juicy ones. This has been all day like this. President Putin, I love that one. You can't tell me that was an accident. It's getting worse every day. Yeah, here we go. This is
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. Determination.
Look at this shit.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Look at it. Look at that. Yeah. Yep. Guys, your left-wing friends are not doing okay right now. They're really not. All right. Enough of this for the moment. Oop. Sorry about that. Listen to me carefully, guys. I totally understand that people didn't want to be involved in this. Do you know how much it broke my heart to have to take the channel that I built on mystical Alan Watts spirituality with a left-hand interpretation? Do you guys have any idea how much I never wanted to get political again? You see, when Trump took office, I thought, well, I guess it's handled. An outsider got in. Maybe it was never as bad as I thought. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe the New World Order is just something Alex Jones made up, because they never would have let Trump in. But then things kept happening. And then 2020 happened. So I had to say something. I don't know who said it, but whoever said the far-right tradcons hate Trump, you're absolutely right. A lot of them do. I don't know who said that. I saw it scroll up, but it's not on any of the chats. I don't know where I missed it. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Thank you, Izanagi. I wish I'd seen that 45 minutes ago. I don't know, oh, because I have it on top chat, idiot. There we go. Yeah, that's better. I see you guys now. Thank you, Queen Homunculus. Very good comments. Yeah, that's another one. Everybody who's like, all of the people you see on social media or your friends that are freaking out about Project 2025, ask them if they ever heard of Agenda 21. And if they haven't, just laugh and walk away. Don't even engage. Literally just laugh and walk away. They don't matter. Those people who are like that, they don't matter. They don't speak for you. They don't care about you. They don't care what you think. Listen, there's something I learned a long time ago when I surrendered all my friends, because most of my friends were resonant with a lot of what I thought we agreed upon, which was freedom of speech and freedom of rights for people who might like different sexual preferences and different races and genders and this and that. We all agreed fundamentally on freedom for all and equal treatment and humanity. Whether I liked people or not, I believed that a free and open society was the ideal. So even people that I didn't necessarily condone their practices or activities, even though I didn't really have a problem with most things, but there are things that I don't think are right that people want to do, but I don't necessarily think it's my right to tell you not to. So I want to live in a free and open society, and I thought that's what they wanted. But they grew up, they became successful, they ended up owning home after home and having the entire system work for them. And they consumed mainstream propaganda because, well, they reached the age where they needed to listen to that stuff so they could be informed about what to invest their money in so they could buy another house or another car. So the people that I grew up with who were middle left type people, who were mostly my friends, by the time 2015, 2016 arrived, a lot of them were already distancing themselves from me because I was talking about all of this stuff. It hadn't even gotten into the Trump versus anybody yet. Trump wasn't even on anybody's radar unless you were like listening to when he would like talk about 9/11 or Obama's birth certificate. But that wasn't even on my, it wasn't about Trump yet. So it wasn't just that I liked Trump and they didn't, and that's why we didn't get along. No, they really thought that I was crazy, that I was believing lies, and that their propaganda said that people like me were dangerous, that we were racist and bigoted. And so they started to distance themselves a little bit. And by the time 2015 or 2016 rolled around, and I made it clear what my voting intentions were, I started to get a lot more grief, a lot more anger and vitriol, a lot of argumentative, not in person, never in person. They were always bend over and fold up and be like, well, that's great. No, only online. That suddenly their balls grow real big and they don't mind harassing you online. So my friends and I, we'd argue. And after a while, I'd be like, you know what? I don't think you actually like me. Because you don't like most of the things that I believe in anymore. You used to care about free speech and the truth. You used to care about freedom. You used to care about leaving people alone and not telling them how to live their lives. You used to be for not aggressive, militant, progressive ideas, but you just wanted progressive ideas to be, championed. That's a healthy mindset. There's nothing wrong with that, even if I don't agree with progressivism. Just championing it and being like, this is what I think is right. I'm not going to judge you for that. If you actually look, I have a lot of left-leaning or very far left friends still. But they're the ones that don't judge you for being a little different. But my friends started to. And so the day came after I voted for Trump and was happy that he won. And I looked at all of their social media and I saw what they were saying to their friends in person and the way they were calling everybody like, I hope that none of my friends are a Nazi. I haven't. Motherfucker, I used to beat up Nazis for you. I used to fight them for you. I really did. Like real, like skinhead, not the just right-wing guys, but like the actual, like, you know, go after the Jewish people, screw the blacks. Like I had to fight those people. They were a big deal in the 90s. You had the non-racist skinheads and then the racist skinheads. And the racist skinheads were a problem. I went to war for you people. And you're throwing the word Nazi around. You're saying I'm a bigot and a racist because I voted for a guy who wasn't part of the New World Order cabal, who was being attacked by the people that I knew was in that. Okay. So when I saw that, somebody would say that that was a moment of weakness on my part because I unfriended everybody and I lost all their numbers. I told them all off. I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Fuck all y'all. You're the ones running around calling everybody Nazis. One of my asshole friends, it's like 350, 400 pounds, talking about how he was gonna punch Nazis in the dick at a protest. Motherfucker, you would have fainted dead on the ground if you raised your arm in anger because you couldn't handle that much exertion. My friends went crazy. They were the types who were crying because Hillary lost. And so I think of it as the most based boss move I've ever made. You guys have to understand, you think Thorne's a charismatic guy? Guys, I've always been the center of major friend group. I've always had a large friend circle if I wanted it. I always only had like one or two close friends, but I always had, especially like as a teenager, if I had a party, there'd be 80 people at my house. Easily. My birthday party was like 90 people with a band. And it wasn't like I spent anything. I literally just, hey, let's have a punk show at my house. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you, I've never had a hard time getting along with people until this shit. Then I had to be more discerning and be like, you know what? I can't be friends with just anybody, can I? And so I said, you know what? It's not worth it to maintain these zombie friendships, these people that probably hate my guts, but aren't able to tell me that because they're two-faced. Here's a little secret for you. Most people that run in the left are collectivist. This is a psychological reality. Most of them are collectivists. I'm not generalizing. I'm telling you the psychology that leads to different political views. This is not made up. You can look this stuff up. There's studies. People who are collectivists have a tendency to put more value on being accepted by social groups. That means that they're more likely to lie or be disingenuous to fit in. They're more likely to say that they like you when in the back of their mind they're going, you fucking suck. I don't play those games. I mean, I'm tactful. If we're face to face and and I don't have a reason to be angry with you, I'm going to be nice to you, but I'm not going to associate with you. I'm not going to just be like, fuck you, I hate you. I'm not rude like that. Not in person. Online, I'll do it because it's fun. But in person, I am not like that. I'm very, very easy to get along with in person. Unless you do one of those few things that's like, no, we're not compatible. You know, you're a pedo or a racist or something. So when they started showing their true colors more obviously, I realized I had been hanging on to friendships that had died a long time ago. And so I cut the cord with all of them. So why am I telling you all this? Because we are now at a point in history where the gloves have to come off. I've been living in a repressed state. Whoop, I got a little spider. Come on, little guy. I don't know what it is. Spiders like my computer screen lately. I have been holding back a lot because I don't want to divide my audience. I don't want to offend my friends. But I think it's pretty much obvious what's coming now. If you don't know what's coming, you're just not paying attention. It's forgivable because the stuff that I've found out, figured out, channeled, divined, all of my ways of finding things out is like an obsession. I have ADHD, so when I get obsessed about something, it's like a superpower. I don't stop till I master it, and I know everything about it that is knowable. It's fun. It's not like I don't like it. I'm not obsessed with politics. I'm obsessed with figuring out what these fuckers are doing so that I can survive it and help you survive it, help my friends get through it. I didn't do this because I just went crazy. I did this because I saw shit that didn't add up, and eventually I figured it out, and I tried to help you figure it out too. It wasn't because I went crazy and I wanted you to believe a bunch of bullshit so that... No. It's because for the last... Your entire life has been a lie. The last couple hundred years in particular have just been such bullshit. If you knew what they're hiding from you, a fraction of it, someone brought up Bill Cooper. Go watch all Bill Cooper's old stuff. Go watch Jordan Maxwell. Go watch, I can't remember his name. He was friends with one of the Rockefellers. Fuck, I can't remember him now all of a sudden. But he did a bunch of interviews telling Alex Jones and some other people what the Rockefellers told him. Go dive down the rabbit hole, the original rabbit hole. Get your feet wet. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, get your feet wet and fucking learn, because you have no idea what's been kept from you. And I'm not just talking about history and politics. I'm not even talking about aliens or ancient aliens. Even that isn't the whole picture, or even the biggest thing. The most important thing that they've kept from you, the key, the reason why D.H. Thorne is able to do these things at all, the reason why D.H. Thorne has figured this, the only reason I am here is because I de-indoctrinated myself from materialism, from physicalism, from the lies of the materialistic world. And I started investigating non-dual spirituality. And when I did that, gradually, the indoctrination, I took the red pill. Aaron Russo, thank you. Was that, did you figure that out, honey? Yep. Good job. Damn, my wife's good. Isn't she good? I wifed a good one. Aaron Russo. Not to say that Aaron Russo is the same. Just watch his interviews. That's true, Odo, but not to get an overview. Odo says, Thorne, there's so much shit down the hole, will take lifetimes to go through. No, you're right. I mean, if you want to know every detail, yes, but to just get the elementary school, grade school version of things, which is what I have. I want to be clear. I'm not that much beyond the grade school level of this stuff, okay? I've got a good overview, and a few subjects I know a lot about. But it was that non-dual awakening that really just took my awareness to the next level and revealed to me not only that they are lying, but that they know that they're lying about the nature of reality. Reality is not a physical thing manifesting, reality is not a physical thing that is creating your mind. This idea that the world is physical and gives rise to mind and consciousness is completely backwards. You couldn't have it more wrong. You couldn't possibly have it more wrong if you tried. It is exactly the wrongest interpretation that exists. Why did they make sure that's the only one you're allowed to believe in? Can't you feel the pressure? When you unplug from this matrix and you look at it, you start to see the pressure that you couldn't see before. You start to see the social pressure. You start to hear the indoctrination language. You start to hear the propaganda. You start to feel the pressure. In science, you are never supposed to, in science, in the scientific method, the scientific philosophy, you are never supposed to close the door on anything. There is no such thing as a sacred cow in science. Anything that you discover is always, always open for being disproven, being rejected. Good night, Prince of Gilgal. I'll be here all night. Now, I'm probably going to stream for a little bit longer because I really don't like streaming too many hours lately because I got other stuff I got to do. But I appreciate you. Thank you, Prince. Good to see you, man. Hopefully you watch the rest after. So you start to recognize the pressure. Let me give you an example. Open any textbook, any scientific textbook that has anything to do. Oh yeah, thank you, Shrieking Violet, my wife, my purple wrench. She says you should have a disclaimer for many sleepless nights for those that don't delve into these things. It's true. When you start delving into this stuff, you get sleepless nights because some of this stuff is very disturbing, even the good stuff. Because when you realize that they've kept it from you, it's disturbing. When you realize that they didn't want you to know that you're the divine made manifest, that you have incarnated here to experience this. And they don't want you to know that the fundamental nature of reality is consciousness. And that physicality is an emergent illusion that comes out of that. It's not even the second layer or the third. It's not the last layer. It's like a middle to last layer. It's like on the bottom third. Physicality is the bottom third of the planes. And the further you go, the more it denatures through entropy. See, entropy isn't just in the temporal dimension. Entropy exists in all dimension. Because entropy, time, that's really what we think is time. Time is really just a degree of entropy in the infinite. Just call it that. When you enter into an area of the infinite where there's more entropy, we think of that as the future. And a place where there's less entropy, we think of that as the past. It's a perspective deal. It's not a movement deal. You're not moving through time. Time is a measure of entropy. That's it. There's no before and after. The only way you can discern before and after in the scientific physical sense is the degree of entropy that it has. Something with more entropy is always a future state of something with less entropy. Done! There is no other definition that makes sense. It's the degree of entropy, comparatively speaking, to a prior or remembered state. The last perspective compared to now. Is it more entropy or less? If it's more entropy, it's the future. The past always has less. Chronos, Saturn, is corruption, entropy, harvest, draining, running down, the spiral of time as we know it. It is the final boss of mortality. It is the final boss of even the astral. And I say that jokingly because it's not really a villain at all. It is simply imagine for a moment that consciousness is the fundamental it. It's numberless. It's not in pieces. It is simply it. And consciousness being intelligent, but not in a way that is perceived, it is the essence of intelligence. Manifests as intelligence, and that intelligence can be individuated. And those intelligences are hierarchical. There is a highest intelligence. The highest intelligence is what a monotheist calls God. But a monotheist is a corrupted, degenerate philosophy because they believe in personal deities. The highest mind or the highest intellect is what monotheistic religions call their gods. But in Hinduism, they call it Ishvara, or there's different ones for it. The original Abrahamic Semitic monotheism, it wasn't a personal deity. It was tetragrammaton. It wasn't a personal entity. It was the intellect of all. It was the overmind itself. You see, they understood the Trimurti just as well. See, this is the thing. Don't get your shit twisted. The Abrahamic tradition is a corruption of this other Semitic mystery school knowledge. They turned it into a people's religion to control people. Moses, or who was most likely the Pharaoh. Shit. Memory fart. Can't remember his name. Moses was most likely that Pharaoh that got kicked out. Was it Akhenaten? I think it was Akhenaten. Moses was most likely Pharaoh Akhenaten, who tried to monotheize Egypt, failed, was kicked the fuck out. He wasn't chased to keep him. He was chased to kick him the fuck out. He took his Semitic people with him, or at least that's the legend. They probably weren't, but maybe they were. I don't know that part. I wasn't there. He fled, created a slave religion. I think it was Ramses who kicked him out, Odo. Ninurta, you might remember better because I know you're more into this stuff than even I am. So feel free to correct me because I'm not good with the names part, guys. So I might have that part wrong. If you guys know better, please comment and I will stand corrected happily. I don't like being wrong. I hate being wrong. So some people hear that and be like, oh, that means he's going to do anything to be right. Yeah, I am. I'm going to listen to the truth when I get something wrong. I go, oh, really? Okay. I mean, you have to be right, but trust me, I listen when I'm wrong. Trust me. So they created this peasant religion, this slave religion, based it off of mystery school knowledge, corrupted it. They personified the one. They personified Brahman. They personified existence, consciousness, fullness, or bliss. And if you look, you have Ein, Ein Sof, and Ein Sof Sulfur, salt, sulfur, mercury. Oh, there it is again. They all know this. All the mystery schools teach the same thing. All of them. That's the thing about Hinduism that I love, is it's like an open mystery school. See, in India, they teach openly what in the West was reserved for the mystery schools. Not everything. No, by no measure did they There's some secrets out there, trust me. I don't know them, but I can tell you they're there. But the point is that the mystery school traditions from the West just kept what is openly known in the East secret. Now, in the East, they didn't hide it, but they corrupted it in other ways. They popularized the more dogmatic beliefs and faiths. They twisted the teachings in a lot of ways, in some cases, so that you could hear the truth and still not get it. For example, like, it sounds right that a lot of people listening to me like think that I idolize India or China or Japan. Not at all. Most of them don't see in their tradition what I see, because for them it's their culture. It's rote to them. It's like the way most of you see Christianity. A lot of people living in those places, there's a lot of people who believe in it, but just like Christianity, it's been corrupted for them. So they don't get that higher philosophical mysticism, that mystery school knowledge. They get a religion to worship different deities and ask Ganesha to come clear their obstacles for them. Ganesha, of course, probably originating in a cargo cult myth that was repurposed to contain mystical truth and represent certain higher truths, certain archetypes, or certain minds or intelligences in the higher realms. When I say higher realms, I mean closer to source. When I say closer to source, I mean behind you in the physical plane in time. You didn't know that, did you? What do you think the Big Bang was? You think the Big Bang was something that happened? Or was that just the white hole exit or white hole side of the singularity of eternal being? What do you think the deep future, trillions of years from now, when we have the big rip or the end of maximum entropy, the great crunch, or the great cooling, or even the great crunch for that matter? That's the other end of it. Think of a magnet. The South Pole is the generative side. It's the side that things flow from. For example, the Earth is a polar object. It's got a North Pole and a South Pole. But here's the interesting thing. We call the North Pole the North because it attracts the north side of a magnet. The North Pole of the Earth is actually the Earth's southern magnetic pole. You didn't know that, did you? So the southern pole is the outflowing, we think of it as it's the emanative side of the polarity. So in the past was the South Pole of 0 point. Poof. And there's an emanation, the physical world, and it's going to continue through the temporal dimensions. It looks like a straight line, but it's actually curving back to the singularity. And it actually inverts. What you don't understand is when you get around back to that northern side, you're not going back into the singularity like you emerged from it. Think of the singularity as pouring out into itself, so that when you get to the maximum degree of entropy, the singularity has turned itself inside out within itself. Kind of hard to describe. So when you get to that infinite nothing at the end of time, that's the singularity again. And it's going to repeat over and over. There's your kalpa cycles. Something I talked about in Become the Maelstrom in a different way. I try to use different language for the same ideas so that people in the modern world can cyclic universe. But it's not a perfect circle. It's a spiral. It's always a little different in the temporal dimension. And each iteration has a different set of happenings that follow the same circuitous pattern of happening. The same pattern. which, at least for the human condition, is represented by the major arcana, the tarot, the Hebrew alphabet, the Phoenician alphabet, the Kalpa cycles, the Kali Yuga, the Yuga cycles. These are all the cycle of samsara. These are all echoes and ways of describing a similar concept and using it in different contexts for different lessons. Like a toroidal sphere. Yes, be great anyway, exactly. Why do you think that etherism is always about toroids? Why do you think the toroid's one of the most important things? Go watch Theoria Apophasis. He's difficult to watch, I get it. He uses a lot of gobbledygook language to make himself sound smart. He is a very smart guy. Don't ever think that he's dumb. He's not. He's definitely, he puts himself out there as arrogant, but I guarantee you in private, he'd probably give the shirt off his back. He's probably a sweetheart. Some of the nicest people sound like me and him. Why? We're sick of stupid people, that's all. We're tired of being taken advantage of. We're tired of the fact that we're nice being used against us. So we act like dicks a little bit so that only people who aren't all up in their ego. See, you're going to find out if you start acting the way I do, you're going to find out that only the most arrogant and egotistical people get offended when you're confident, or when you speak with authority, or when you speak like you love yourself. Ew, he says arrogant. Why are you offended by his tone if he didn't direct it at you? See, if I talk to you personally, I don't think there's anybody who would disagree with this unless I was trying to piss them off because I didn't like them. Anybody who's had a one-on-one or real personal time with me in private, you all know that I'm a sweetheart. I treat people accordingly. But I put on a facade like this so that people who are easily offended by someone's demeanor will leave me alone. I don't want people like that around me. I want people like you who are willing to look past whatever negative you see in me and go, he says a lot of smart shit, or he's entertaining. That's fair. If you just think I'm entertaining, that's fine, because at least the ideas are still getting in there. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I have selfish attitudes about things. Of course I do. We all do. But I'm saying that a guy like Theoria Apophasis, Ken Wheeler, I see through him. He's been hurt. He's got a reason to act like this. He may not know it. He may not be doing it intentionally like I do. To be fair, it starts intentional because of habit. So for me, like the ranty attitude, that's a habit now. That's not what I wanted to be. When I started this channel, I wanted to be the, listen to me, this is the darkness and you will. I wanted to put on that kind of character. It didn't work. You guys loved it, but I couldn't keep it up. It's just not, I can do it for a little while. Anybody can. But I like being this guy sometimes, even though he annoys me sometimes. I think you guys I think you guys enjoy my attitude more. I think you feel vindicated. I think sometimes I say things in a way that you wish you could say them because you're sick of people's shit too. Maybe you're sick of the world. Maybe you're sick of the lies and you're like, wow, Thorne says it like it is and he acts like it. I'm your Tyler Durden in Fight Club. I'm the guy who said, fuck it, I'm not holding back anymore. That's one of the most powerful things you can do, is say, I'm not holding back anymore. But watch Ken Wheeler, watch Theoria Apophasis. With a grain of salt, he's not right about everything, and he'll tell you that too. And he uses a lot of gobbledygook to make himself sound smarter, to make it a little harder to understand what he's saying so that he can feel smart, I guess. Like once I figured out what he meant by certain words, because he never clearly defines them in his videos, although he's done a better job in some of his writing. He's got words, they're English words, but he uses them a little bit differently than other people do. And you would ask him, which definition are you using? And he'll get mad at you like you're stupid because you don't. It's like, no, if you're into philosophy, you know you have to define your terms. He doesn't do a good job with that. Not sure why. Maybe that's just a quirk. He's got a flaw. That's fine. Watch his videos. He's excellent if you're into etherism. I'm not saying he's the end all be all, but he is excellent. There isn't a single person that's into that subject that doesn't speak relatively highly of what he tells you. There are people who know probably a lot more than him and have better stuff, but he's one of the better, in my opinion. He probably would hate a lot of what I do because he doesn't like the crystal rubbing, new age, mystical stuff. He doesn't like all that. I get it. He's got a closed mind about certain things. But I got a soft spot for him because I recognize a kindred spirit. I recognize a person who knows things that average people couldn't possibly understand, feels isolated and like he can't relate to people. And so he wants to help the world, but he can't stand most of the people in it. And I totally get that. It's like, I love you all, but man, do I hate your fucking guts too. That's compassion. Compassion is, I can hate you and still want you to be better. And if you're a rabid dog, I take you out, but I do so mercifully. It's not with the intent to make you hurt. But if punishment is what you need to be redeemed, remember what I said before about redemption? I will extract every ounce of agony that I can from you without hesitation. I don't mind. That's my dark side. My dark side is thirsty for your pain. But you know what? I never get off on the pain of innocence. The one or two times that I've indulged in it, it has made me sick. But the pain of the guilty, I'd be a great Batman. Oh boy, but I'd be the Batman that kills. I wouldn't be the Batman that just arrests you. No. I guess I'd be more like a, I guess I'd be like a bad vigilante, I guess. If you were like, Thorne, here's superpowers, what would you do? Yeah, I would be the scary one that the good guys and the bad guys are like, let's avoid that guy. Yeah. And when I'm not wearing the superhero outfit, I'd be cuddling kittens and helping little old ladies across the street. It's like I'm Clark Kent, but instead of being Superman in my at night. Yeah, Punisher maybe, but give Punisher like, demon powers and shit. like Lestat. If you remember Lestat, he's a bad boy, but he really gets off on punishing the guilty. If you ever read the books, his preference is not for innocent people. He likes the rich, he likes the nobility, he likes the decadent, he likes them. He likes the dirtbags. He likes the dirty ones at the top. I guess Deadpool, but not as comical now. Not that I wouldn't have a sense of humor about it. Imagine Hellraiser. Imagine Hellraiser as a vigilante superhero at night, and by day is Clark Kent. Now you're getting there. And trust me, I don't get off on torture porn or any of that shit. I don't like that. It's not that I'm into. It's the extraction of the guilty. I love it. Cry more. I like it. Well, a part of me likes it. Not all of it. Part of me likes it. That's the Psy-Vampire side. Anyone who has ever come under that attack from me, in that moment, I believe you deserve it. And I'm feeding off of you, and I will rip you to shreds from the inside out. Anyone who's ever experienced that will tell you I'm not making this up. I get a mania because it's like, yeah. And then at some point when I realize that I have purified you, I've extracted the agony, then I'm like, oh shit, pull it back before you go to, oh no, they're innocent now. They've paid their due. This is a part of my karma or part of my makeup that while I am proud of it, it's probably a part of my makeup that I am learning to integrate. Because if you go back far enough, I was probably not one of the good guys. If you go back far enough in my, it's just a hunch, because what little I've gotten, which is actually a lot of my past lives. The reason I say little is because I can't confirm any of it. So I don't act like it's the gospel. Like a lot of you people will get a past life reading and take it for granted and just think it's true. You won't test it. You won't question it. You know what I do with that knowledge? When I was younger, I based my life on it like an idiot. When I was younger, I believed that, here's the thing, when most people hear in a past life you were this, in their current life, they think they're still that. So in a past life, I remember being this kind of half human, half dragon, whatever a dragon is, that's our word for it, in this quasi fantasy sci-fi reality. I remembered being a fallen angel, but not, I didn't side with the Satan side. I sided with the I'm not choosing side. And a lot of other memories. And when I'd come out of the trance or the hypnotic trance where I was getting this from, instead of going, that's what I was, I would say, that's what I am. So I'd tell my friends, I'm an immortal demon from hell that's on a journey of redemption. No, I'm not that. That's just something I remember, and it may not have, was it me? No. Right now, I'm this guy. I'm consciousness experiencing this person. And that back then I was consciousness experiencing that person, but I'm not that person now. What that person was is part of who I am now. Yes, it informs my deeper personality, my deeper soul. It's part of my higher self, but it's not what I am. I'm not a draconian starseed or some other bullshit. I'm a mind, I'm a traveler. Dimension after dimension, body after body, life after life. I explore and I learn and I grow, and so do you. We're all travelers here. I'll call, in a future incarnation, when D.H. Thorne is done and I decide to rebrand, I'm just going to call myself the Traveler, formerly known as. And you're all the Traveler. You're all travelers. You're all traveling. You're all shifting every moment through the infinite, exploring every moment. That's what you are. You know what you are? You know those God rays, those sunbeams that come down through the clouds? You're one of those. And the clouds are moving and you're scanning the landscape, illuminating part of it as you go. The landscape's not moving. You're not moving. The sun's not moving. Its light isn't moving. The filter is moving. The filter is shifting. And it looks like time is passing. It looks like things are happening, but you're just shifting your perspective. You're a traveler. You are a traveler in that sense. And you have done this countless times. In all likelihood, you've incarnated more times than you can imagine because there is no time. Because really, you're the sun itself. Time means nothing to the sun in this analogy. It's always there. It's the clouds that change. It's the clouds that move. You don't. Your light is eternal. Your conscious awareness is eternal. It is only that which you are witnessing that appears to change, not you. And you're witnessing that within yourself. How is that possible? Turns out it's not changing either. It only looks like it's changing because your perspective of it is changing. That's what changes. That's what 4D consciousness is. It's an awareness that you're not moving through time. Nor is time moving, nor is anything moving. It's an awareness of what time actually is. And that alone will take you to a level you cannot ever see the world differently ever again. And 5D consciousness is recognizing that you can shift the temporal dimension by choosing what you call actions in the material realm are choices in the higher realm. It is a choice to shift to a different material temporal dimension or state. 5D consciousness. So I'm deep in 4D. I got 4D down pat. I'm fully aware that time is an illusion. Sometimes to the point where it's a little unsettling. Because your ego doesn't like that. Because your ego only exists if time is real. If your ego is just a character that you're reading about, so to speak, if your ego is just something that you've invented based on what your perspective is in that moment, if you're not really this person, because this person can't exist without time. It needs to have a beginning and a middle and an end, or the ego can't be. The ego must have a start, it must have an existence, and it must have a finish. It must have a Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva. Salt, sulfur, mercury. Microcosm, macrocosm, it's all the same up and down. You, in this finite little microcosm sense, is exactly like the macrocosm. You have to have a generative, a sustaining, and a destroyer. Solve et coagula. Does it make sense? Guys, you have to go to mystery schools to get what I'm telling you. And they probably won't even tell you. They'll make you figure it out. This isn't hard. It's everywhere. There's a reason you don't remember your past lives. Because if you did, your karma would take hold extra. Here's my point. Every single past life I was able to recall was similar. The circumstances were different, but the context was almost always the same. I was always incarnate to fight a massive, massive war or take part in a massive conflict for the fate of the species. Not necessarily as a chosen one, so to speak, because that's kind of bullshit. We're all the chosen one. I don't believe in the chosen one crap. I think that's garbage, especially the way it's taught in these videos you find, like the video I did the other day talking about that. But I am always incarnating according to those memories that I dredged up in hypnosis, unless it's just those are the ones I wanted to remember because they were the most pertinent in this life. That's possible. Maybe I had a lot of lives that weren't like that. But almost every single life that I was able to recall, I was in a rebellion. And we won some and we lost some. And guess what? I incarnated into this world, this timeline, this planet's, this culture's ultimate revolutionary rebellion, bigger than anything that's ever happened in recorded human history. The death of the cabal. And I played a small, but don't think that because it's small, it's less important. No matter how small you think your role is. Here's another secret, by the way. I'm going to jump a tangent here. Maybe that's why I'm good at temporal shifting, because I jump tangents like it's nothing, because I have ADHD. Now I lost the tangent. Oops. That must be the substances that I indulge in. I always remembered these wars. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. In the sense of the absolute, everything is necessary. If a single atom were to suddenly disappear from existence as you know it, then existence would disappear as you know it as well. There is no such thing as insignificance in the infinite. When you're talking about infinity, every single number is intrinsic. It's inevitable. It's necessary, or infinity couldn't exist. Could you have infinity without the number 3? Could you have infinity without the number 1? It's a lot smaller than a number billion. Is it less significant than a billion? You couldn't have a billion without 1. Everything is like that. You are like that. When the universe, when the materialistic reductionist assholes of this world want to make you feel small because you're just somebody who's got a workaday job and you don't do nothing special, you never wrote a book, you never contributed to nothing, you play video, you're not insignificant. You're just small. But small things are intrinsically required for infinity to exist. You matter. You're so important, you can't even imagine how important you are. If you were to disappear, you might not care. The world might not seem to care, but it would. Because if you literally, I don't mean like you dropped dead or something. I mean, if you winked out of existence like you never were, the universe would not exist anymore. How dare you believe you don't matter? How dare you throw it in the face of your own divinity not to think that you matter? How dare you? How dare you let them teach you that? How dare you let these materialistic pricks make you feel like anything less than infinity incarnate? How dare you? Wake up. It's been in front of you the whole time, but they kept it from you. How dare you let them do that without getting angry and doing something about it? How dare you let these woke morons take your freedoms and take your culture without doing anything about it? How dare you sit on your ass while they tell you you're a bad person because you're white or a male or conservative or anything? How dare you, if you're any ethnicity, letting anybody tell you you're bad? Anybody, you're not insignificant. You do fucking matter. Because if you cease to exist, we'd all cease to exist. I cannot drive that home harder. I could literally stand over you with a fucking boulder and smash it into your head, and that wouldn't be hard enough. All right, that's a weird image, but you know what I'm saying. And of course, Odo, I've said a large stone right when you said to incarnate as a rock. Synchronicity. I believe that was your synchronicity, not mine. That means you better listen to what I just said. Can I get the fuck yes in the comments if you understand and agree with what I'm trying to tell you just now? If I know this, do you think that I think you're insignificant or don't matter? I may not like you, but do you think that I look at you and go, they shouldn't exist? No, you're necessary. In that way, you are beautiful. What do you think it's meant by the Judeo-Christian idea that everyone is beautiful? That we're all special and chosen? Because if you didn't exist, nothing would. Don't you dare. Don't you ever dare. Don't you forget it. Do the assholes with the blue hair tell you what I just told you? Do the Christians tell you what I just told you? Stu, I don't know if you tuned in earlier, but if you rewind, that's not Biden. That's a dude in a Biden mask. Don't fall for the front page media. If you're here, you're able to handle what I'm telling you. Don't fall for the front page media. Don't fall for that pessimistic doom and gloom news that Biden is running the country in the ground, because Biden's a dude in a mask. That's not Biden. It hasn't been Biden yet at all. It hasn't been Biden since like 2017 or so. That guy's either dead, Gitmo, or in hiding. I don't know which. That's the part I don't know for sure. My personal belief is probably not a good thing to say, because if it's true, then that means the people that I'm supporting are utilizing the same kind of tactics that the bad guys have used. I believe they're using them benevolently, but that means that they are in most control right now. And all the bad things you're seeing, they're letting happen to wake you up. And a lot of people aren't okay with that. And I don't blame them. The problem is you don't know how big the problem is. If you understood just how bad the problem is, you'd understand why what they're doing is necessary and malevolent. When you have a child, do you spare the rod? It's a biblical saying, get it out of your ass. Some of you guys are so bigoted about Christianity that you get mad at me when I use them favorably. God, that fucking pisses me off. When I'm sitting there, people are like, oh, you support someone that Christians support. Fuck you. Especially when you're sitting there with your rainbow flags talking about bigotry and then you just hate people because they're Christian. You're retarded. But that's the point, Stu. He's a guy in a mask that's there to show, to demonstrate to the sleepyheads what a corrupt system we have had. I think I even know one of the actors. His name is Arthur something or other. He played in the movie. He was in a Sho Kosugi movie. A great movie, actually. What was it? Revenge of the Ninja? He was the bad guy ninja. I'm not kidding. It's probably him. It's got his facial structure and his eyes in a lot of these scenes. I think they stopped using him a few times because people were catching on. But do you spare the rod to spoil the child? That doesn't mean you have to hit them. That's not really what that meant. It meant if you don't discipline, punish, or give consequence, or make suffer, if you don't have a thing you're trying to train, if you don't use any negative, then the positive means nothing. Like the modern idea of educating people with only positivity, that's great, but there has to be a consequence system as well. It can't all be sunshine, rainbows, and fucking unicorn farts. It's got to also sometimes be, well, that sucked. And some things are so dramatically bad that you must allow for dramatically bad things to happen, or else the subject never learns. Humanity is going through a crucible that is not up to us. Higher powers have ordained, whatever the fuck they are, call it God, call it the aliens, I don't give a shit. The New World Order cabal tried in vain to subvert it. They could not stop the temporal nexus point that everything was moving towards. They could not shift the timeline out or away. It was too late. This is why in the Q-tard community, there is that whole nothing can stop what is coming. It's not just because that the powers that are running Trump, the white hats, just have it in the bag. There are forces beyond human comprehension that are involved. And we're not probably going to find that out, maybe ever. It's certainly probably not in our lifetimes unless we get life extension or some of us get chosen to get taken away and find out. So yes, I'm speculating. I don't have proof. Thorne doesn't know. Use your discernment and just look around with your eyes open. We are on rails right now. But soon, so imagine a big railway where all these tracks are converging to one track, and in a little bit, you're going to get some splits coming off it again. We had a few already happen. I guarantee you some people went off in other timelines already. But there was this big convergence, and they couldn't prevent that. And all of the exit timelines from here on out, especially from here on out, the cabal is dead. It's too late. Does that mean the new boss is better than the old boss? I certainly hope so, because I will rebel against that too. I'm not mad. This is the thing. People are so twisted that if you say, I support Trump right now, oh, you're a fanatic for Trump. No, I will turn on him quicker than a fucking dime will turn when you spin it. All it will take is the moment I sense that he's not what I am supporting, then I will be outspoken against him as well. I guess I got to be clear with you guys. A part of me is self-conscious about what you think of me. A part of me is self-conscious about what my audience might think. Because I'm constantly getting bombarded, either because I lurk on other profiles and I see what some people say because I don't have them blocked anymore, or I'm not stalking people, but I have other social media because D.H. Thorne is a character I play. He's not me. He's a mask that I use to let some of me come through that I can't let out in my daily life. That doesn't mean that's who I am. So yes, I am aware what some people say about me. And I don't fucking care. But for a little while I did, because it was a job. I didn't want to lose my audience because people were calling me a Nazi, racist bigot or something, even though none of those things are true. I had to be careful and walk on these eggshells so that the blue-haired use my pronoun brigade. And I don't even have a problem using the pronouns. But when you're rubbing it in my face, fuck you. Don't talk down to me then. I am venting a little. I hate these fucking people. I genuinely do. I always have. I've told you that from the start. I hate these people. The animal side of me wants to go to war with them because it doesn't understand the bigger picture. But the higher part of me does and has stayed its hand. But tell these fuckers, tell them Thorne drew a line in the sand. Not because I want them to come after me, but because I want them to know that we know. We're watching. We're going to laugh. Anybody at this point that can't see, I don't expect you to see everything I'm saying. Just the most primitive nursery school level. You don't have to like Trump. You don't even have to support Trump or vote for him or want him as president. You can hate his fucking guts and not be a dick that supports the cabal. Go pick a third-party guy. Stay out of the politics entirely. Just don't stand up for this. Don't sit there and be an activist. Trump's 2025 is going to put us all into the Handmaid's Tale. You're lost. And what's coming is going to hurt you so bad, and some of you really deserve it. And I'm here for it. And I can't wait to see it. When I did the Shadowgate project in 2020, holy fuck, is this exactly what I hoped it would do. Me and the other guy who was the top people doing that, my partner in that, I talk to him all the time. And he still just goes, I can't believe. I can't believe. It's either the biggest coincidence in the world or we literally shifted or changed the world. We shifted timelines or changed the world. Whatever we did, maybe we weren't the only ones. Maybe there's a whole bunch of people working on different projects that all had the same kind of intention and that's what happened. Fine. But the Shadowgate project, holy shit. I never thought we would see what we're seeing. Guys, do you know why I have so many guns? Do you know why I have so many weapons? Why I have stored food? Because when I got that stuff, I anticipated that around now I might be fighting for my life. Literally. 10 years ago, I was like, oh shit. FEMA camps? All right, now maybe FEMA camps was a little bit of a stretch, or was it? Because they built them. They're building them now. For who? They want you to think it's for you guys. It's not. It was going to be. Nope. They're being built now to handle, well, when they do the deportation, that's how they're going to stage them. Probably. That's my guess. I don't know for sure. Just my speculation. It's also for the people who are going to engage in civil unrest very soon. And some of them are going to be right wing. You bet your ass. In fact, they're probably going to stage a bunch of right wing civil unrest. Because they're probably going to fuck with Trump. They're probably going to fuck with the election. They're probably going to do something really shitty. And it's going to set off the radicals on the right that want to go to war with everybody. And by the way, if you're in here and you participated in the Shadowgate project, give me a shadow chat or something. Say something in this chat to let me know you're here. And tell me whether you see it or not. Do you feel like you did something? Do you feel like you played a role? You did. Either you jumped into a timeline where things are going this way, or you literally used magic that changed the world. That's something I was trying to do when I was younger, and I failed, and it burned me up. I couldn't make it happen. If I'm correct about this, I'm going to say this, it's going to sound arrogant and egotist, like I'm bragging, but it's more of a like, holy fuck. If Shadowgate really worked the way it seems to have, like, we're talking Merlin level magician. We're talking like Crowley, fuck that guy. I'm being a little arrogant. Come on, let me have a little, come on, just a taste, please. Just let me have a taste. You should too. If you took part in that, you should have a taste too. You're partially responsible for what's going on. Don't tell anybody till it's over though. All right, so it's going to suck soon. I want you guys to know, here's what's going to happen, and then I'm going to go. I don't know all the details, but my predictions are always more about trajectory, not about specific. So my kind of prescience is like the hurricane forecast, okay? It's inspired, there's divination involved, but it's also just data points that I've studied, and all of these things go together and they give me, this is what I think is going to happen. If I channel something, that'll be different. Okay? It'll be a different kind of talk. I'm going to give it to you in a high probability, low probability kind of thing. High probability, Biden gets 25th. Probably after or on or around the DNC convention. He gets 25th. This does not leave the left with any time to install somebody new to take his place. More than likely, it's going to be, very likely to be Michelle Michael Obama. By the way, they're already dealt with. I believe they're dealt with. Some people think Obama's in charge of Biden right now, and that's probably what the public version of truth is going to be. Just so you know, like the public version of what I'm telling you will probably be Obama's running Biden behind the scenes, and that's why he's in trouble now too. But the reality is they don't play games like that. You don't play games with the world. You don't play games at the world power level. You don't take risks. You either own it and run the fucking whole show from bottom to top, right? You don't leave anything to chance. You think that they're just manipulating the left into being this bad? Are you that gullible? You don't know what a shell game is? You don't know what you've never seen a carny have somebody in the audience that'll help them do the show by being the ringer? You never seen that before? That's what you're seeing right now. Trump is not in control. The people who are running things are using Trump. Trump is one of their front men. This is why he's buffoonish, because he doesn't have to know everything. And he's not a buffoon. That's an act, by the way. People who think Trump's a buffoon, go rewind the clock 20, 30 years. Watch an interview. Watch Trump 20 or 30 years ago. Does he sound stupid to you? Does he sound at all buffoonish to you? Go watch that interview where they asked him if he'd ever be president. I think it was Barbara Walters. Would you ever be president? Things would have to be really, really bad. Listen to him. Does he sound like he does now? No, he crafted this persona to appeal to middle America. Don't you understand? Guys, are you... I know, I seem like I'm mad at you guys. I'm not. This is fun for me. Let me have it. Because we're winning. We're really fucking winning. Do you really believe that this is his personality that you see? You think that this isn't a crafted act? Go watch the debate between him and Hillary when he's able to walk around behind her. When he acted like a shark and he was sharp as fuck. Go watch the last debate between him and Biden. When he was just normal. His mask slipped a little bit. You saw the calculating. He's not dumb. He's not a buffoon. He doesn't know nothing. But he's also not the one who's running everything. Guys, everything's a facade. So Biden's going to get 25th, most likely. That's just my bet. They're going to replace him probably with Michael Obama. Hilariously, it might even be Hillary as her running mate, his running mate, whatever. Wouldn't that be funny? Please let it be fucking Michael Obama and Hillary, please. If it's not going to be Biden, please let it be Michael and Hillary. That would be... Why? Because they need to shift the spotlight, as X22, one of the people that I occasionally get information from, would say. They have to shift the spotlight back to the Obamas. Because he was the first one. He was the first real Manchurian candidate. Before that, yes, they were all in on it. But they were dynastic. They were part of the... No, he was the outsider that came in to close the job. He was there to set it up for Hillary to knock it down. The 16-year plan is not a joke. It started under Obama, was supposed to be finishing this year under Hillary. We were supposed to go into World War III after COVID. And COVID was supposed to be much worse. We'd supposed to still be locked down. At least a third of the population would be dead by 2030. As part of the recovery, they would put us all into smart cities. Because of all of the circumstances surrounding everything, fertility would be at an all-time low, which it probably still will be by the 2040s. In order to keep fertility going, they would have made it so you had to rely on the state to get the drugs or whatever you needed to be fertile. To do that, you'd have to play ball with the system. They would have had you buy the balls, literally. They would have had you buy the wallet with CBDC. They would have had you buy the mind with social media and propaganda on the television. They would have had you localized in small cities. They would have had you targeted, and you would become drones in a few generations. The Greys, I guess? Maybe. If that's true. If the Greys are really what the rumors say. The bad guy Greys. That's speculative. We don't know that. Maybe. And by the year 2050, 2060, definitely by the year 2100, your children, if you had any, that lived, the world population would be around 500 million. Those people would mostly be they wouldn't be free. I'm not even sure they'd be human anymore. I think most of them would be just slaves. I mean, guys, really, the soft disclosure that's out there about what you are to them. What if Blade Runner isn't the future? What if Blade Runner actually happened in the past? What if Planet of the Apes happened in the past? What if you are a replicant? What if you're a descendant of replicants? What if? Did that ever occur to you? the Nordic, Pleiadian, Plajoran, whatever the fuck they are, whatever aliens stuck their dick in and whatever and made us. I'm kidding. I'm making a graphic for funny. What if that's what you are? But you broke free. Maybe the bad guy aliens are the ones that came here. Maybe there's a war, just like the Bible and everything says, in the heavens. What if there was a war in heaven, in space, between worlds? And what if one of the factions lost and landed here? And what if that's just one piece of the story? What if there was already people like us here? They showed up and enslaved us. What if? These are just speculative, but there's evidence for it. Faint evidence. Impressions in the sand, we'll say. Barely there, but they're there. Just look around you. How servile are most human beings? How incapable are they of fending for themselves? How many of them need to be told what to think? Versus how many of them are like brain bugs, as if we're supposed to oversee them. Some of us are of overseer stock. Let's use the slavery days reference. Some of us are overseer stock. Some are the house servant stock. And the rest, you think that slavery thing that was done in the South was just created? Or do you think they just said, hey, we've done this before. This is what we always do? Hi. You're the child of a slave. If you're a human being on this planet, even if you are of a bloodline that was from an overseer class, you are slave stock. It depends, Stu, on whether you think the Nazis were a monolithically, cartoonishly evil bad guy, or if you think that maybe nobody was really good, but the bad guys won World War II. I'm not saying the Nazis were good. I'm saying, what if you've been lied to about everything? And it's not a simple black and white question. But what if I told you that the worst of the two won the war for the planet, and the other ones became a breakaway civilization that has, let's just say, from their secret bases in Antarctica and Mars and the moon, what if I told you that the Cold War was just so that the terrestrial elite could have an excuse to pour gobs of money into military research and funding to create deep military underground bases, arsenals of weapons, and weapons development, from downed alien stuff, downed Nordic stuff, downed breakaway civilization stuff, and that they've been playing catch up all this time, and that's what the fucking Cold War was. Cold War was madness. Why did we have it? It was so that they could develop everything that they're using now to enslave you and to take control of the surface of this planet and push out these other groups. Guess what? These other groups ain't having it. Exactly, Kirill. How do you define good and bad? It's relative. I'm not a moral relativist. I'm just a realist. I know that what we think of as good and bad is not what good and bad is. The real good, well, philosophically speaking, good is the divine. Existence, consciousness, bliss. That's good. What is evil? Ignorance. Ignorance is what evil is. Evil is the ignorance of the divine in all things. If you know the divine in all things, the symptoms of evil, which is murder, rape, theft, all that crap, don't happen. You don't, when you know everything is divine, you really don't like to commit undue harm because you realize you're hurting yourself. It's not a matter of law of three coming back to you selfish. That's a selfish excuse not to hurt people. Well, I don't want to suffer the law of return. I don't want to go to hell, so I'm going to treat people good. You're not good. You're a coward. Let me say it again. If you're only doing what's right because you're afraid of the consequences, you're not a good person. You're a coward. You're a weakling. You're fragile. If you need punishment to treat people humanely, you are not worthy of humane treatment. You'll still get it, but don't pretend. So that's what good and evil is. The good, in the philosophical sense, is the divine, which is what you are. It's not a thing that's separate from you. The divine is the infinite being that all things partake in, that all things are manifestations of. The evil is the ignorance of that fact. You only commit what you call evil. You only do the symptoms of evil when you're ignorant of. Ask my wife. Since we've embarked on this spiritual journey, we went from being inclined to killing bugs and things. We barely even kill bugs that break into our house. We'll do it, but we try not to because we don't want to be the cause of undue suffering. That doesn't mean that we are goody two-shoes. That doesn't mean I won't swat at a fly. It just means that if a spider comes dangling down in front of me, I don't go, ah! I go, come on, little guy, let's put you out. If a fly is caught in my house, I open the door and I shoo him out. I try not, I'm not saying I won't. I still have a fly swatter. There are times when you have to do the thing. But you try not to. You try to avoid undue harm. Why? It's not because you're afraid of the punishment. There is no why. If you need a why to treat things with compassion, you're not compassionate. If you need a why, you are not awake. There is no why. There is an is. There's no because. There is an is. And I know this because I went so far down that left-hand turnpike. I finally found my limit. And I didn't despise the fact that I had one. I was glad I did. Because it was time to turn back around. I'll go for another dive the next life. But I'm comfortable with that. I'm now able to be truly compassionate. I still fuck it up, but I'm sincere about it. Can you do that? Can I challenge you to do all that? I challenge you all. Right now, draw that line in the sand and tell these people no more. But do it with compassion. You can still hate with compassion. Did you know that? Take no shit from these people. Being compassionate doesn't mean taking their shit. Being forgiving doesn't mean being a doormat who doesn't offer consequence. Thorne has turned to the light in the darkness. What's up from the light of the darkness, JD444? I see you, brother. Damn, son. We got to do a live stream again soon. Call me, bro. We definitely got to do a stream again. I miss you, dude. I think we're all turning that corner, bro. I think we're all turning the corner. Those of us who are on the path, we're waking up, we're turning the corner, and we're putting our leverage behind the right side of history. We're waking up. We're helping people wake up. We got our own journey to do. We got our own shit to clean up. But I'm fucking here for it. I can't wait. I can't wait till we're on the other side of this bullshit so we can really live again. I can't wait till this is behind us. We could start healing and fixing. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait to have an audience of people who are listening to me not talk about how fucked up everything is and how much they lied to you. I can't wait to just be like, and here it is. Let's learn now. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait to put this angry fucker to bed. I can't wait to be more the real me. So here's what's going to happen. Biden's going to get 25th. Michael Obama's going to probably, that's my money, is probably on them. Doesn't have to be. But they're not going to have enough time before the election. That's not enough time to install somebody else and get them on the ballots and get it all done. It's not. In fact, there's even a question of how legal it is at this point. The only way they can do it legally is with the 25th Amendment. Or he dies or something. Could happen. Then what do you think comes next? You think the election's going to happen on time? I doubt it. We're about to step into the precursor or the first moments of World War III. There's going to be cyber attacks or maybe an EMP. Oh, maybe it'll be a solar flare, they'll tell you. Whatever it is, something's going to happen. And this is just a prediction. It's not a guarantee. Something's going to happen that's going to fuck up the pattern so that they can't have the election in November. Or even if they do, it's not going to be electronic. That's probably not going to be what happens. There's a couple of ways it could, maybe they cheat again. But if they, boys and girls, please listen. If they cheated right now, do you think they could possibly get away with it? If they installed Biden with a rigged election again, do you think they could possibly get away with it this time? Do you think anybody, I think even some people on the left wouldn't stand for it. For real. You think that they would be able to pull it off again like 2020? Are you that much of a pessimistic loser? Are you that demoralized that you think there's no hope? Get the fuck out of here then. You're not, I'm not for you. I'm not your guy. I'm not interested in weakness. You don't have to be strong. Just don't be a complete weak piece of crap. Stand up. Grow a backbone. Good night, JD. Have fun passing out, bro. Seriously, email me. Let's do a fucking stream or something. So there'll probably be a delay. And they'll probably go after Trump more. It's going to just be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of upheaval. There's going to be economic problems. There's going to be probably, I predict, soft predict, an economic wealth transfer for some of us who know some inside baseball about some currencies and shit. And I don't give financial advice openly at all, so don't ask. But there are certain currencies from certain countries that are set to revalue soon. That if it happens, some of us, you might not see me again because, or at least for a while, because I'll be too busy buying like a mansion or something. Wouldn't that be funny? Hopefully I didn't just jinx it. But there are things out there that are moving and changing behind the scenes that you're not prepared for. Even if you're on my side of the tracks, you're not prepared for it because you probably don't know enough. You won't have to though. Because what's coming is going to reset everything, just like the Great Reset, but it's going to be the good guy version. It's going to be the benevolent version. It's going to be the version we go back on. Think of it this way. During the 1700s, we had the Enlightenment era, and we were being set on a path of awakening, enlightenment. We were being set on a path of maturation. And the cabal stepped in. They took that momentum, used it to take over the world, one step at a time, using Marxism on one side, imperialism on the other, corporatism on yet another, banking. They used all these different systems and bullshit philosophies and things, materialism. They took over whatever group was trying to enlighten mankind, got their hooks in them and twisted it to the dark. They took the secret societies, they took them over, they corrupted the secret societies, the mystery schools that helped the nobility become enlightened so that they could be better leaders, leading to the Enlightenment era. The revival of the mystery school tradition was corrupted and turned against you. That's what I think happened. And we're going back. Guys, here's something fun. Here's something fun. How many of you are familiar with the original trilogy of Star Wars and the Star Wars universe? What if I told you that George Lucas knows some shit? And that in all likelihood, Star Wars is an allegory for one of the opposition societies that opposes the Cabal. Star Wars is probably the story of the Knights Templar, the good guy Knights Templar, not the vilified one you hear about, the good guy ones, the actual Gnostics, the enlightened Gnostics. The Jedi Knights are the Knights Templar. They're an analogy analogous to the Knights Templar. Please listen. The Knights Templar is a Gnostic tradition. They probably know who Yeshua was. They probably know who his bloodline is. They probably know who his children are today. Keep listening. This is soft disclosure shit. I'm not saying this is what it is. I suspect. Just listen to what I'm telling you and tell me it doesn't line up. In the Old Republic, year zero, Anakin Skywalker was born of a virgin mother, just like Yeshua, of Mary. He gets born, and he's prophesied to bring balance to the Force. He gets born. He's prophesied to be the Messiah. Are you listening? But somewhere along the way, he gets corrupted. Do I mean that Yeshua got corrupted? No. I don't believe Yeshua was corrupted. I don't think that they threw a hooker at him and he just suddenly turned evil or something. No, what they did was they corrupted his truth. They corrupted his legacy. They transformed Anakin Skywalker. They killed him on an icon of Saturn, a cross, which is an unfolded cube, which is a hex when seen corner on. Saturn. And they encased him in Saturnian energy. They made him a monster. They made him a martyr to be used to destroy all that was free and good in the world. They corrupted Yeshua's legacy. They corrupted Anakin Skywalker and made him Darth Vader. They took Yeshua and made him Jesus Christ. And they used him like they used Darth Vader to go after everybody, which they did because when the Gnostics were there, are you listening? I'm sounding like a preacher. Are you listening? Jesus's message, Yeshua's message, was the Gnostic version, closer to. Even that's corrupted too. Don't get it twisted. You don't have the accurate version of anything. They murder him on the cross, which is the Saturnian symbol. I don't even know if they actually did it, but the myth says they did. We're just going by the myth. I hope you're listening. So you had Anakin Skywalker becomes Darth Vader. Yeshua becomes Jesus Christ. And together they conquer the galaxy. They conquer the planet. They take over all the civilized world. The empire, Rome, falls and is rebuilt in the Christian image. The Gnostics are demonized. Order 66. They're taken out. They're demonized. They're vilified. They're hunted. They're burned at the stake. They flee. Where? To the desert. Are you listening? They flee to the desert like Obi-Wan, where they come across a safe place to continue their faith and beliefs. What do you think happens next? Well, the Christians, the Catholics, the Romans, the Roman Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, says we want to conquer the Holy Land because there's technology there that we want. We want to control the region. They got stargates. They got all this shit. We want it back. Let's have a crusade to liberate the Holy Land. The Knights Templar probably travel to the region. They encounter the Gnostics, come to learn the truth. And the Jedi Order, the Templars, begin. They get found out. So what does that make Luke Skywalker? A descendant of Yeshua? Or you? Maybe it's you. The point is, by the time we get to episode 4, it's the son. Or, in this case, unless, of course, Yeshua lived a long time, which I don't think so. We're talking allegory here, remember. It's not literal. The truth, Christ consciousness, will return. The Templars, the Jedi Order, will be restored. Or will it? Well, that can't go on anymore. That system has to die. So Luke, the coming Christ consciousness, Luke's Lux Light. Luke Skywalker, the fucking son. It's so obvious. It hurts. Darth Vader's helmet's a Saturnian symbol. I give a fuck all y'all. Figure it out yourselves. I'm done. I'm done. Bye. Good night. Do you get it? Do you get it? Don't you see? They've been telling you either I'm crazy or I'm onto something. What do you think? Decide for yourself. I've only scratched the surface of that allegory. I've only scratched the surface. You know, Christian, I am going to both hug you and slap you. That is a great question. I have no idea who Boba Fett would be. That's a good question. Because he was a minor character who didn't matter in the original George Lucas version. Look up George Lucas's movies. He did THX 1138. Basically telling you what's coming. His version of 1984, THX 1138. That is exactly what they were going to do to you. Go watch THX 1138 and know that was exactly, literally, the world they were going to make for you. Soft disclosures everywhere. Correct, Kirill. Yes, correct. They've been telling you because they want you to know. Sometimes they do it to mock you. The other side does it to mock you. They like showing you what they have in movies. They like showing you the utopia that they live in, that they have access to. They like you to know that they fly around in spaceships and live the life you only dream of. They have life extension, all that shit. Some of them do anyway. They love rubbing that in. Because something about you pisses them off. You know what it probably is? It's probably because you rebelled against them. Or maybe the biblical story has some truth to it. We were chosen above them. For whatever reason, our sky daddies that helped make us preferred us. It's possible. Whatever the reason, they hate you. Or at least they have to treat you like they hate you. Some of you guys know way more than I do. How many of you guys realize that I pretty much just fly by the seat of my pants? No one taught me shit. You think I read gobs of books to get this stuff? No. Most of this is intuitively, in the moment, channeled, figured out, and brought about by lots of data points. But I'm not reading books and getting somebody's opinion and regurgitating shit. I'm looking at the world and I'm going, well, that looks like that. And I see that, that's similar, that matches. Oh, that makes sense. I'm a pattern recognition machine. That's what having a really high IQ means. You recognize patterns very quickly, especially if you're a little autsy, like I have probably a little bit of autism. I got to level with you. I'm basically a little bit retarded. All right. God, that guy. I wish he was sincere. I wish he was the good guy. So, at some point, the election will be held. It is most likely going to be a landslide in favor of you-know-who. And then whatever hell hadn't come unloose yet will. And somewhere between the time of the election and the inauguration, this country is going to be basically a war zone, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. It's possible. Very likely. At least as bad as 2020 was. This is why I don't think this is all going to be over come November. I think it's going to keep going. It probably will keep going well into 25. I'm sorry for those of you who want this to end soon. It can't. People have to wake up. The goal is not to stop the bad guys. They're already done. The bad guys are already flatlined. They're done. It's just the mid-level and low-level operatives they're dealing with a couple of fucking people that are, really dug in. But the overall structure, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Obamas, they're done. All their public side shit, they're done. They're captured or dead. They didn't stand a chance. They were down within a few years. Some of them are dead now. Why is suddenly all these people have cancer or are quitting the industries that they're known for? Ellen DeGeneres, I won't seek more movies. All these people suddenly coming out and saying, well, I guess I have to support Trump. All of these sudden reversals, exposures, something's happening and it ain't fucking organic. And if you can't see that, then you're one of the people that this show is meant for. You're one of the people that they're trying to wake up. Unfortunately, they're social engineering you into a worldview that's not going to be your own. That breaks my heart because to me, while that is probably a necessary evil, I would have preferred if they had given you the truth and let you choose. But here's the problem. That's what they did. They've been giving you the truth for decades and you've been rejecting it because the other side's propaganda was better. I have Rumble chats. I'm sorry, William Latin. I didn't see. I'm sorry about that. Who was that? 22 minutes ago from Bezcor gave me $5. Thanks. I forgot I was even on Rumble, guys. I am sorry. Thank you so much. Yes, Bezcor, Battlestar Galactica's got some truth to it too. Have you ever noticed that Battlestar Galactica talks about the 13 tribes? What do you think they're talking about? Go look up the 13 tribes of who? Atlantis, I mean, Judaism. Thank you very much for that 5 spot, by the way, Bestcore. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's right, Bestcore. I didn't see your other comment. Shokasugi was the good guy in that movie. You're correct. All right. Christian, you always know how to meme me, dude. You made me spit fucking soda up. And Jesus said, verily, verily, I say to you, there will be a substantial reward for whoever finds the Millennium Falcon. You are free to use any means necessary, but I want them alive. I love it. Thank you, brother. That's right, Lily Lucy. Just like I was saying to you on Facebook. That was you, right? I think it was you. We're all here now for this. All of us incarnated here now for this. Some of us to guide, some of us to learn. Some of us just to see the fruits of our karma play out during this time because we made this possible over many lifetimes. Some of you, this is your first rodeo. Some of us have been fighting these wars countless times in our prior lifetimes. This is the first time I didn't get blown up or something. So, I think I'm ahead of the game. Because every other time, it was bad. I'm kind of glad all I had to do was go through meme wars. That's a lot better than the shit I've been through in past lives. If you believe in soul families, if you believe in any of that, I will make a promise to you guys, though. When we're on the other side of this, if some of the things that my investments and things, if they pay off, after a little bit of time, probably just enjoying myself and just being happy, hopefully the soul tribe will meet. Hopefully there will be a place we can all meet, those who want to. And maybe I'll become more refined in my knowledge. Maybe I'll be a better teacher. Maybe I won't be just a ranting asshole on YouTube. Maybe I'll actually learn. Maybe I should get help for ADHD and I can actually put one foot in front of the other for more than a few yards at a time and actually get something going that I want to do. Maybe I'll figure out how to run a spiritual school. Maybe I'll start some sort of an ashram, but non-specific to any tradition. A retreat system. Maybe I will start to institutionalize myself, or maybe, wait, that sounds like I'm going to the mental ward. Turn myself into more of an institution. Or maybe I will just fade out and we'll all hang out and I won't be a professional anymore. I'll just enjoy life. And you guys can come and hang out. We'll do bonfires and we'll talk about the possibilities. And either way, I kind of feel like, if you ever watch those World War II movies where they're all sitting around talking about what they're going to do after the war, I feel like that. I feel like we can see the end of the war in sight. And it's like, well, what are you going to do when you get home? Well, I'm going to start a diner and I'm going to marry Lucy that I left, I think that's where we're at. Odo, you're right, especially in this niche of esoteric, occult, mystical language. But on the mystical side, I'm actually not that rare. If you really look, you're going to see that all of all of the quality ones, the ones that are actually, they know what they're doing. They're not like the little TikTokers. Non-duality is for your butthole. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about people, for example, Infinite Waters, Diving Deep, my friend over there. Fuck, what's his name? I know his name. I have a memory problem for names. Those of you who don't know, I really do. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, Infinite Waters. He knows. Go listen to what he says. He says the same things I'm saying. He just covers them better. When I say covers them, I mean he masks them better. He makes it sound like he's just talking about enlightenment shit. Go listen to what he says. He's exactly in tune to the same thing I am. That's why I like him. But he is a better communicator than I am, by a long shot. He knows how to talk so that people won't get it twisted in a way that makes them angry. Like, he's not as adversarial. I'm more adversarial than he is. I don't like it, but that's just a fact. I'm of that Luciferian archetype. I can't help it. But listen to what he says. He knows what's coming. He's made some of the same predictions I have. He probably has some of the same sources I do. He probably is into some of the same conspiracy theories I'm in. And he probably gets guidance like I do. You think it's just me? Guys, do you know when you go in an airplane, the higher you go, you can connect to things that you can't down here? I went on a plane trip to Florida with my wife last year. I was in tears on the way home. Something was talking to me. I'm not kidding. I'm never going to tell you who it is or what. Everything changed around me. He's in tune with a lot of the same stuff I am, and he's not the only one. There's a lot of people doing good work. They're probably working with the Antarctica people or the divine or whatever the fuck. They're tuned in, they're connected, they've got help, they're being groomed, they're mentored, they're operatives, they're agents. I don't fucking know, but they know. And they confidently know. They know. After School, watch After School. That is a YouTube channel. You should watch every video that comes out of that. Almost every video is pure gold. I can't tell you, because why I love them so much. I can't begin to tell you how much, because they present things without being too, they're not like a fire hose of information. They guide you into a mindset of understanding because they have the right people that they have their content from. They guide you into a way of seeing the world you can't come back from. You go, oh shit, this is true. When I say you can't come back from, I don't mean you're indoctrinated. I mean your eyes are opened. They rub some clay into your eyes after spitting in it and your eyes open. Infinite Waters, diving deep. This side, love that guy. Fucking love it. Not everybody does. You know how I know I'm right? Because some of you guys have already changed. Some of you guys used to think one way and now you think another. And I know you do. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you from getting out of your comfort zone. I'm proud of you for changing your stripes. I'm proud of you for opening your eyes. And I'm glad to welcome you as brothers and sisters in the middle of this time of great change, myth, and legend. You chose the right side of history. You are sinless in my eyes. You are redeemed, and you are going to help us bring humanity into the Great Awakening. And I'm going to leave you on that note. Do not fear. Fear is the mind killer, says his left arm tattoo. Not because I like Fear Factory, because that Dune is soft disclosure too. Star Trek is soft disclosure. Star Wars is soft disclosure. If you guys only knew. I shouldn't say knew, because I don't know, but if you saw the patterns, if you saw it everywhere, it makes you crazy. It's just like putting the glasses on in the They Live movie. It's like you see the words behind it. You're like, oh, fuck. It's all true. It's all true in ways you can't even. This entire planet is based on lies. Minimum 70% of everything you believe is a lie. More than likely 90%. if you're a normal person. If you're these average workaday people paying their taxes that don't know anything, 90% of what you know and believe is a lie. If you're listening to me, you're a little better. You're probably 70%. That's it. I'm serious. You think I know everything? No, I'm well aware of the fact that probably maybe 70% of the truth I still will never know. Or I'm wrong about 70% of what I say. How many people are going to tell you that? How many people are going to have the balls to say, I'm probably wrong about 70% of shit because it's that obfuscated? Consider yourselves lucky, because if you're on this path, the worst you're going to have to endure is a little economic hardship and being ridiculed and mocked by stupid people for the last 10, 20 years for being right about everything. The worst you're going to have to endure is just witnessing your friends and families be suckers for this dumb shit. But you're not actually going to have your soul taken. Because you have to understand, that's what black magic does. I discovered and was taught what black magic really is. My guides taught me what it really is. It's not what EA says it is. Not what any of these people say. I love EA like a brother, but that's not what he says. Black magic, see, you have to understand, an infinite divine being, which you are, has infinite divine free will. You cannot be overpowered. Nothing can force itself upon you. The monsters of this world cannot harm you unless you choose to allow it at the highest level. On down here in the material level, it's not that simple, but at the highest level, your higher self will not allow you to be harmed, hurt, destroyed, or helped unless it wants it, unless it is its will. They know this. So what they do is they also know that you are ignorant because you're incarnate. You're seeing through this cloudy filter. And they know that if they can deceive you just right, they can get you to do whatever they want. Black magic is a holistic opposite to white magic. White magic is enlightenment. White magic is achieving samadhi, realizing you are the divine, finishing the Solomonic tradition and building the Temple of Solomon to become an enlightened being. Whatever your tradition is, white magic is waking up. Black magic is enslavement. That's it. Black magic isn't curses that hurt you. That's sorcery. That's shifting of temporal dimension. That's not magic. Magic is about transmuting you, your persona, awakening you or putting you asleep. Black magic deceives you and puts you asleep. White magic wakes you up. With a K, we're talking. Black magic is not simply bibbidi babbidi boo, now you're cursed. Black magic is, you're not a spiritual being. You are a bunch of atoms bumping together. These atoms are dead. There is no soul. There is no spirit. By the way, you have to work 40 hours a week, bare minimum, to live a meager life, and you're going to pay taxes to us, and you're going to like it. That's black magic. That's the mundane side of black magic. Did you know that? What do you think Hollywood is? It's black magic. It's there to deceive you. Black magic is robbing you of your divinity by convincing you you're mortal. And then enslaving you, using your divine power to shape reality in the way they want. That's black magic. And now I realize I am not a black magician, and I never have been one. I've always been a white magician, but I know how to do black magic very well. All right, boys and girls, I'm going to take off. It's past my bedtime. Thank you, guys. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for your wonderful comments. Thank you for putting up with my crazy ranting. As usual, everything I'm saying is my opinion. Not everything is based in fact, but everything is based in my confident opinion. Data, research. I hope you get something out of it. Kirill, don't get hung up on the word awakening. Don't get hung up on these words, man. Sleeping is ignorance. Awakening is lucidity. You already answered yourself. When you, I'm sorry if I have a tone. I don't mean to give you a tone, by the way. Just don't get hung up on the words. Don't split the hairs. Listen to the inflect. Listen to the theme. Reality as you know it is a dream. Everything that you know is a dream. It's the dream world. You're in the dream world right now. But most of you are sleeping, you're dreaming non-lucidly. Think about when you go to sleep tonight and you have a dream. Do you know you're dreaming? Most of the time you don't. Every once in a while you have a lucid dream. Maybe it's a nightmare and you go, oh shit, I'm dreaming, I better wake up. And then you wake up. That's a very basic lucid dream. And a lucid dream doesn't necessarily mean you have superpowers. It just means you know you're dreaming. That by itself is a powerful state. What do you think enlightenment is? What do you think non-dual awakening is? It's realizing that this mortal life is a kind of dream. And when this dream ends, another one begins. You never stop. I firmly believe, until I have evidence otherwise, that when this body goes kaputnik, there is a vast, infinite field of possibility for what you will experience next. It could be nothing. It's possible. If it wasn't, you're not God, and you are. God can experience nothingness. Why not? You do it every night when you go into deepest sleep. You have no memory of what you did, so that's nothingness, right? You can have that. You can have the material ascending if you want. You can have the soul ascending, the ending where you just, boop, gone. But that's a dream too. It's a dream of nothing. You can have a dream of something or nothing. When this body goes kaput, you are no longer attached to this filter and you can see with clearer eyes. You go up a level in dreaming. You realize that this life was just a dream. And do you realize the next one's a dream? Maybe, maybe not. Go watch the movie What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. Go watch that. That might be one of the most accurate portrayals of what it might be like. You don't always have them, Carol, but the dream is always according to your will. You're just not always aware of that will. This is the point. It's a dream. As a dream, when you know you're dreaming, what does that mean? Well, now you can start to choose what the dream's like. When you're dead ass asleep, you're still dreaming and you're still doing it. You're still the one dreaming it, but you don't know you're dreaming, so you don't have conscious control over it. The point of magic is to awaken and attain consciousness, lucidity, and all that entails. At the very minimum, you learn to recognize that everything you experience is your choice. On some level, you chose it. Yeah, Kirill, if you're new here, you're going to have to learn how to understand my linguistics. Don't ever take me too literally, bro. Never use first definitions with me. I shouldn't say never do. Don't just go first definition. You're missing my point. It's like you're overthinking the analogy. That's what Fleshy used to say when Fleshy was here. He'd come on and we'd talk, and like someone would say something, he'd be like, I think they're overthinking your analogy. Because I do use a lot of analogies and metaphors, because that's mysticism can't be said directly. You can't really say the absolute directly. You have to use. Anyway, I said I was going. Love you guys so much. Kirill, thank you. You're a good egg. Lily Lucy, thank you for showing up. Odo, brother, I used to have this closer to me, but it distracts me too much. So I could be like, hey, everybody, this is DH Thorne, blah, blah, blah. But then I can't be animated and energetic. So I don't know. I appreciate your suggestion, and I'll consider it, Odo. You're not wrong. I just don't know if I'm going to do it, but you're not wrong. It's a good idea. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Who did I miss? Christian, good to see you, brother. Dan Best, brother, I did not see you here. He says, I just wanted to say thank you. I know I'm not always here. That's okay, man. But I do still watch and listen after the fact. Thank you for being you. Thank you, brother, if you're still here. And Ninderta, of course. I didn't respond to you much, but what's up, brother? Be great anyway. Evan, what's up? Peace, man. I guess he went to bed or thinks I am. I always do this. It's an ADD thing. Like, I got to go, and then I sit around. Joffrey. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody's comments and questions this time. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the ranting. As I burp again. Freaking soda. Yeah, I guess that's good for now. All right, guys. So if you guys have any other questions or comments, you can always email me or join my Discord. If you join my Discord, I don't always respond, but there's often some good conversations in there about spirituality and stuff. So join us on our Discord. If you want the link, just look in the description of this video. You'll see a link that says Linktree. Click that and it'll take you to a website. Scroll down like 2 or 3 slots. It'll say like join my Discord server or something. Click on that and follow the directions. If you've never used Discord, it's good shit. Although it's kind of woke to people who run it, but it's a pretty good service. And I like it better than most social media because you got more control over it. And you know, you don't have to worry about as many assholes because you can keep it clean. But all right, that's it for tonight, guys. I will see you all hopefully next week. If not, soon.